A lot of you wanted me to talk about the new Discord thing with age verification, and if you don't upload your ID, them doing all this weird facial scanning shit to put you in a certain category or not. And I haven't done it because I just haven't really been as interested in it. And I know I'm probably not going to say the things that people want me to say or go over the things that people want me to go over as much. You probably want me to go over the fact that there is a company that was storing those pictures of the scanned IDs that got hacked, and over 70,000 of them got released just a few months ago. There are many ways to go over this that are probably more relevant than the way I want to go over it. I want to go over it just looking into just what the internet was like 25 years ago and what it's like now. I remember being a teenager and joining IRC channels all over the place and joining these little internet communities back when the internet was a group of forums and not just and communities rather than just subreddits. And what I liked about that part of the internet is fundamentally a lot of it was the anonymity of it. What I loved about it is I could be in a room with people who were multimillionaires. I could be in a room with people who were in 7th grade like me. I could be in a room with people who were broke from all different walks of life. Some people were anonymous, some people were not. Most people back then, pre-2004 internet, it was very uncommon for anybody to ever give their name on the internet. That was just a time you had to be there for the late 90s, early 2000s where it's just, wait, you're putting your real name on the internet? Are you crazy? Well, like somebody may not like what you say and track you down. You're not going to put your credit card into the computer, are you? That's how the hackers are going to get you. It was a very different time than today. And then 2004 came along and MySpace and Facebook and Web 2.0 came along. And that was when people started attaching their name to stuff on the internet. It was very weird. And I would just look around and I thought that it was so strange. I mean, there were maybe 1 or 3 people that I knew on the internet back then where I knew their real name or maybe the city they lived in, but that was like coveted personal information. And even if you had that, it was just implied. Yeah, you don't let anybody else know that you know what that person's name or city is because they were entrusting you with something. And what I would really was amazing about that internet is that I was given the freedom to be myself in an environment where I probably would not have been myself if everybody knew my name up front or if I was verified up front, or even if you didn't know who I was because of a username. You didn't know, I didn't have to worry about the website knowing who I was because of my ID. So let's say I was using a pseudonym. Let's say I was using, I don't know, like Acer, as just not very creative. Let's say it was Acer as my username. The owner of the website didn't know that my real name was Louis Rossman because I hadn't uploaded their ID there. And I probably would have been a lot different in interacting. I probably would have had a lot less interactions if I had that in the back of my head. And I miss that internet. I miss that time. I miss being in that community because I did not have the best of time growing up. I'm not going to go over every single piece of the history here, but like I showed up at home. It wasn't like I had like parents say, oh, here's what you should do at school. Here's what you should do with this problem, son. I was mostly on my own. And it was very useful for me to be in an environment where I was actually around other people that were adults and I could talk about issues or I could see how they talked to each other. I could be a part of a community where people were actually working on things together. I learned the idea of personal accountability and responsibility. I learned how to ask questions. I learned how to do things. If I have a question or a problem and I want somebody to help solve it, how can I ask it in a way that does not seem entitled so people are actually interested in my issue or interested in helping me? That was something that I really needed to learn because when I was younger, I was fucking clueless at it and I didn't really have people showing me how to do that in real life. And learning those lessons earlier on made it a lot easier for me to do all the things I'm doing now as a grown-up later in life. And I got to learn these, and a lot of these lessons that I learned were in 2 IRC chat rooms that I'm not going to mention that had a massive influence on me in my life. And if I had to upload my ID or do a fucking facial scan, I would have clicked X immediately. And the reason that is so annoying and aggravating to me is because the modern me, the business that I created, the person I became, the things that I did instead of just going to like staying at Model Sporting Goods and fucking putting price tags on basketballs happened because I had the influences of those people, some of whom I still know today. It's like talking about my frustration with like the repair wiki not working well, or like my frustration with what goes on with New York City and New York State when I was trying to run my business, my frustration with what went on with the repair community in general over the past 15 to 20 years and how that's just like all the ladders that I took to become who I am just kind of got pulled up. I feel like that's one of those ladders, and it was the ladders that helped me develop into the person that I am today. There's no way in fucking hell that I would have joined any of those services if this was required. Now, I can already hear people screaming from miles away, Yours, you don't care about the children. What about the... Bitch, you don't give a fuck about the children, especially if you're in the government. If there's anything that anybody has learned, and I have not gone down this rabbit hole, I have probably missed out on tens of thousands of dollars in YouTube revenue by not milking the fuck out of the Epstein files. I'm not in the place for it right now. I'm not in the mood for it right now. I got a lot of stuff to do with my business. I'm just not in a video making mood recently. But like, if there's anything that you can learn from just looking at how the United States government has dealt with this entire thing every step of the way, whether we're talking about Alex Acosta many years ago or the complete clusterfuck of the last 9 months. You don't give a fuck about protecting the children. No fucks given. None whatsoever. The best way to protect your children online is to be a fucking parent. But there's an irony there. And like the only reason that I was even able to use these IRC channels and talk as much as I did with all these different groups of people that helped mold me into a person that was a responsible person in society is because my parents weren't actually watching, because they didn't fucking care. You don't need to have people upload their fucking identification. And that's what pisses me off when I hear that argument so much. All those websites I was on, all the things I did on the internet, whether the good things I did on the internet or the bad things I did on the internet, because, you know, there are some things I did on the internet when I was a teenager that I probably shouldn't have. Probably while having this thing plugged in. Yeah. But besides that, all the stuff I did on the internet, all the people that I talked to, all the conversations I was a part of that maybe my parents would have been pissed off at if they saw, these weren't conversations that took place because they didn't ask me to upload a copy of my ID or do a facial scan. These occurred because my mother was too busy, like, you know, downing Xanax and Luvox and actually trying to figure out how to be a mom, right? Let's be real. If you want to protect your children, parent your fucking children. Don't ask the government and social media companies to do it for you. Now, does that mean that I think it's okay when I watch those Facebook whistleblower hearings to Josh Hawley and that woman that was a whistleblower, where they're talking about how like somebody deletes a photo of themselves and then the algorithm detects that person has low self-confidence, so they start marketing that young teenage girl beauty products? No, that's predatory. That's fucked up. That's bullshit. And fuck anybody who had any involvement in like anything even remotely related to shit like that. That's disgusting. That's predatory. That's sick. That's different from the idea that this is the way you protect children. It's not. Like, parent your kids. Take a look at what they're doing on their phone or the internet. Have real fucking conversations with them. Try building trust with your kids so they actually want to fucking share with you what they're talking about and who they're talking to. The thing that pissed me off the most about being a child was the degree to which adults treat you like a disabled adult rather than a human being that just doesn't know as much as them yet. And when I talk to kids as an adult, one of the things that I noticed allows me to immediately get past like so much of the crap that their teachers or their parents or everybody else in their life will have to deal with when communicating with them, as I just try to talk to them like they're a normal fucking human being. I'm so sick and tired of this. Like just everything that's becoming fucked up about the internet to try and protect children from people that don't give two shits of a fuck about raising children, much less even protecting them. It just fucking pisses me off. I don't know. There's your rant. Discord age verification. Not what I was supposed to say, but what I thought. I'll see you in the next video.